I understand everything is working out just beautiful. I heard in your cloud things about education. I would like to hear it. I mean, people were really down to the subject.
Where is the category?
Professor A. Senthil Kumar and Mr. Dominic Kassel to be seated in the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gathered here today for the launch of the agenda of the Apprentice Scientist, a book that we have been very excited and about which you will hear in detail from our distinguished speakers today. Professor Nicole Ostrowsky, the author of the book, is perhaps well known to some of you by now. Beginning her research career in quantum optics, she completed her PhD from Harvard University. She has published over 100 research papers and articles in this field. Having always taught physics, she became more and more interested in various aspects of science education. This interest culminated in the writing of this agenda of the Apprentice Scientist, published in 2009 in French. We are indeed fortunate to have this privilege of coming out with the English edition, translation of the book, and we have great expectation of doing extremely well in the discerning Indian market. I extend warm welcome to Professor Nicole Ostrowsky for this function. We have with us Professor Daniel Ostrowsky, husband of Professor Nicole Ostrowsky. I extend warm welcome to you, sir. We have with us Padmashri Padmanabhan Balram, the Director of Indian Institute of Science. It is no small honor to us that Professor Balram, Director of Indian Institute of Science, consented to release the book. Thank you, sir, for generously accepting the invitation. Dr. Balram is Professor of Molecular Biophysics and currently the Director of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He has received many awards, and recently he received the Padma Shri Award from Government of India in 2002. I extend warm welcome on behalf of University's Press to Dr. Balram. Now we have with us Dr. Senthil Kumaran. Principal Counselor, Education Excellence at Confederation of Indian Industries, who is with us here today as an honored guest. He has also been a great supporter of the book. A warm welcome to you, sir, and we look forward to your address later in the day. The French Embassy has been a pillar of strength to us in this whole book publishing venture, and we cannot thank one and all enough, particularly Mr. Thierry Boss and Ms. Radhika Vishwanathan, and who has guided the destiny of this book so very closely. We welcome you for this function. It is a great privilege to have Mr. Dominique Casset, Consul General of France, who will be presiding over this function today. I welcome you, sir, and thank you for your extreme presence. I also welcome Mr. Philippe Casperini, Director of this Alliance branches. We have invited principals and teachers from various schools. You have taken time to be here with us. I extend warm welcome to you all, and I also extend my warm welcome to the people from media and all my friends. Once again, I welcome you all, and may I now request Mr. Dominique Casset to address this audience and take this program forward. Thank you, sir.
Bonjour à tous. Good morning, everybody. Professor Balaram, head of the Indian Institute of Science, it is an honor to have you today in this Alliance Française for the launch of the Indian version of l'agenda de l'apprenti scientifique. Madame, Professor Nicole Ostrowsky, it is also an honor for us to have you again in India. You came last at the end of 2009 during the Bonjour India Festival of France in India, during which the science department of our embassy invited a number of French scientists to visit India and to give lectures. You gave a series of lectures in various cities. These were lectures and demonstrations from your book, L'Agenda de l'Apprenti Scientifique, that had been recently published in France. The book had been a great success and received a lot of acclaim for its very innovative approach in helping young people from 7 to 77 years old, in getting interested and understanding with ease the basic scientific principles that lay behind very common and almost daily phenomenon that we all observe. I have tried quite a few of the challenges and experimentations of the book, and I have to say that they are all at the same time related to a high level of scientific knowledge, but also related to day-to-day life. I personally enjoyed the lecture very much, in spite of so many shortcomings in me trying to solve many of the problems. France and India share a common passion for science and share the belief that having a strong scientific community is one of the bases of competitiveness and development. Our two countries also enjoy a long-lasting collaboration in science, which is an important part of the strategic partnership between us. Both France and India have been pioneers in setting up the Indo-French Center for the Promotion of Advanced Research, CEFIPRA, 25 years ago. 30% of all joint research publications are direct outputs of the project financed by CEFIPRA. And France is the fifth partner of India as measured through joint publications. But France and India share also the same concern about the insufficient interest of both young French and young Indian people to take up careers in science. This limited interest raises many questions and challenges, from primary education and pedagogical methods when it comes to science teaching, to questions on how to attract the best and brightest talents towards scientific careers. Perhaps this book will wake up sleeping interests in science. In fact, I am convinced that it should. Thanks to the quality of the original French book, and obviously thanks to the demand for such a book in India that emerged during Nicole Ostrowsky's previous tour, the Embassy of France in India, both its book department and science department, were easily convinced to support the project of creating an Indian version in English of this book. When you carefully go through it, you will share the pleasure of so many French readers. But you will also discover that the book is not just a simple translation, but a real adaptation to the Indian context. Every experiment has been thought through to be doable with material anyone can easily find and afford, and many new Indian quotations have been added to this version. At this point, I'd like to thank Ms. Radhika Vaishnava, who is here and who has done most of the translation. To end, let me extend my warmest congratulations to Professor Nicole Ostrowsky, who succeeded in inspiring confidence in all the partners in this adventure, to University Press in Hyderabad for its excellent work, quality of the book is perfect, and particularly to Mr. Madhu Reddy, its director, to Professor C.N.R. Rao, who immediately accepted to write and sign the foreword of this book, to those who have actually done the translation and adaptation, and finally to the distinguished scientists and old friends that share this moment with us. Agenda of the Apprentice Scientist. Should this title be a passing reference to the story of the apprentice sorcerer, first created by Goethe, then popularized by Disney, and through the music of Paul Dukas. In the story, the apprentice experiences the freedom given to him by his professor with very mixed results. Freedom to experience is the background of your book, in my opinion. But at the end, the real sorcerer, I'm not really referring to you, madam, not the scientist in general, Professor Balaram wouldn't like me to call him a sorcerer. At the end, the professor saves the day with his knowledge until maybe the apprentice becomes later a professor. Let us wish that a number of the young and older readers of your book will catch the fever of discovery and continue to lead this world towards knowledge and progress. Thank you and enjoy the experience.
Thank you, sir, for your good words. Now I request Dr. Senthil Kumaran to speak to the audience.
Good morning to dignitaries on stage and off stage, young friends, probably the apprentice, as said by Dominic. It's my pleasure to be part of this particular gathering. I, as more of a teacher, as a practitioner who works with schools, colleges across country, also has few experiences whenever such new initiatives, such new books, such new concepts, such new formats are being introduced into the program. I'm not here to talk more on the challenges of science, probably who could be the better person than Professor Balram himself. But the whole thought process, whether it is science, maths, English, language, any particular thing, one of the challenges that at India, I think all of us have been, grappling about it, trying to find ways and means to address this particular issue, which, talks about the rote learning as such. And when the scenario is like this across country, people found new methodologies. People said that, okay, these are some of the things which you need to do to make sure that the learning in true sense actually happens. It also talks about a lot of, there are empty examples of research which are being done by professionals, scholars, on the impact of rote learning. Given an examination for class 10, the student who scored maximum scores, after putting across them again after 60 days, again asking them to go through the same kind of question paper and ask them to reflect, probably the results have not been very, very fine. And the kind of challenges, whatever we are trying to talk about, because of rote, it's impacting not only in the school, their own learning, but also trying to make sure that they are not going anywhere. That's where I think the role of a teacher or any passionate professional who wants to imbibe the concept with specific to any subject as such has to be very, very clear. Coming to the science, just one small reference as a practitioner. One of the challenges which we are seeing across country, particularly when you try to look into the number of students who are trying to opt for basic sciences, somewhat it's been dwindling. And when you go to some of the general degree programs and ask the students for programs like physics, chemistry, biology, there are no much of takers. Maybe there may be different reasons, but probably I think what is that one particular motivator, or what is that one particular igniter which will help them to move towards the basic sciences? And I think the situations are not very good when you try to go even into the cases of teacher education. Because when you try to touch the teacher education scenario, we are finding that more than 80% of people are preferring social studies and science, social studies and English as the specialization subject rather than science. So, if you try to forecast and try to overlay the total number of students who are going to come out from the B.Ed colleges across country, I think we may run short of science teachers very soon. So probably I think this book is also, some way try to put some thoughts, some ideas into the community of academician and outside the academic community also, that people, how exactly they can become, source of inspiration. I still remember, when you try to talk about teaching schools, particularly the school segment, I can share some of my own experiences. We used to have a teacher who used to tell us a very interesting fact, how he learnt English. He comes from a smaller town closer to Coimbatore, from Tamil Nadu. His father, when he used to start doing his routines in the morning, he used to ask him to read the Hindu newspaper too loud. And whenever there used to be a difficult word, this son of, this professor used to say a little low. And immediate reaction, the father will say, "What did you say?" Then immediately this fellow will react. So, how language at home or at school could be actually being done. And then he used to do one very interesting practice with us, which he used to say that each one of you will get a chance to come and write a word in English and then also an equivalent in Hindi. So that you're not learning one language, but you're also learning. But then there was so much of interaction between the teachers that they used to make sure that one or the other way, this particular word was being used by teachers on that particular day. So this is where you try to see that how exactly the complete environment was created, even to teach simple things like language. Many people talk about, again one more area which is a concern area across country, not only science, but even with history. You go and ask a student,